Imagine this. You blink, check your phone, and
Whoa!
almost a third of what the world does for a living has slipped behind the algorithmic curtain. Today, we're diving into 5 jobs AI is busy stealing, and the moves you can make to stay one step ahead. Ready? Let's unpack the numbers, then we'll sprint through the danger zone. First, the cold splash. A recent McKinsey study says generative AI could automate 29% of all current work tasks. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs estimates 300 million jobs worldwide are exposed. That's not some dusty future forecast. It's the here and now headline. IBM has already iced nearly 8,000 back office hires because, quote, the bots will handle it. Ouch. But stats alone don't change careers, stories do. So picture 5 roles standing under the automation spotlight. We'll hit each one, flash a quick scene of the takeover, then hand you a pivot plan you can actually use. Lean in. First up, data entry and clerical keyers. Think invoice shuffling, form filling, number transcribing. Oxford's famous automation gauge pegs this job at 99% risk. Robots now hit a ridiculous 99.96% accuracy. That's fewer errors than your spell check makes spelling Mississippi. Scene switch. An invoice bot gulps 1,000 PDFs and spits out validated entries in, 6 seconds, while the human who used to do that is still logging in. Hurts, right? Here's the escape ladder. Level 1, learn just enough SQL or Python to understand how data flows. You don't need to build rockets, just know how to query a table, spot an outlier, supervise the software. Level 2, master data storytelling, because the bot can collect the numbers but only a human can turn. We spent $42,817 on coffee supplies into, maybe let's audit the espresso obsession? Bots crunch, you contextualize. Sliding into number 2, telemarketers and scripted inside sales reps, also perched at 99% risk and crowned by researchers as the single most exposed language job. Picture this, a GPT-style voice agent dials a prospect, cracks a quick joke, overcomes an objection, closes the sale, all while the human rep is still waiting for the CRM to load. Yes, this is happening today in pilot programs from Los Angeles to Bangalore. So what's your counter move? Shift from script reading to solution crafting. Consultative sales, where you diagnose a client's messy business puzzle and co-design an answer, still needs emotional radar and improvisation. Add negotiation tactics, sprinkle in CRM analytics, and suddenly you're the AI's manager, not its casualty. Remember, a bot can talk, but it can't sip coffee with a skeptical CFO and sense when the budget alarm bells are ringing. That's your moment. Third position, Tier 1 customer service reps. Gartner predicts 80% of contact centers will be running generative AI in production by next year. Snapshot. Klarna's shiny new bot now handles 2/3 of customer chats, slicing wait times by 82%. Cue happy customers and nervous agents. But Tier 1 is only the front line. Complex escalations, the stuff involving regulation, fraud, or that VIP who just lost her suitcase full of wedding dresses, still crave human finesse. So skill up. In journey design, map why people call, not just how they're answered. Learn to architect experiences, analyze churn patterns, strategize loyalty nudges. In other words, migrate from, how can I help you today, to here's how we rewrite your entire support ecosystem. AI patches the leak, you redesign the plumbing. Fourth on the chopping block, bookkeeping and routine accounting clerks. Nearly 900,000 US roles could vanish this decade. Remember when reconciliation meant late nights and cold pizza? Now cloud software slurps bank feeds, tags anomalies, and balances ledgers while you sleep. The robot doesn't even invoice for overtime. Your exit ramp? Become the numbers whisperer rather than the numbers copier. Move into advisory finance, scenario modeling, cash flow triage, strategic variance analysis. Dust off Power Query or Pandas, maybe add an AI-assisted audit certificate. When decisions hinge on whether to open a new factory or buy back shares, leaders still want a human who can read the spreadsheet, then read the room. Finally, role number 5, translators and routine proofreaders. Automation risk, 70%, and climbing. GPT-4 now performs at junior human level across many language pairs, and DeepL just scooped $300 million to dominate regulated sectors. If your day is stringing literal sentences from language A to B, the software is breathing down your neck. Yet nuance lives where literal breaks down. Localization for a teen fashion app in Sao Paulo, transcreation of a Super Bowl slogan, subject matter editing for pharmaceutical trials, Those gigs demand cultural antenna and domain accuracy. Plus, someone has to prompt engineer the machine translation engine, evaluate its blind spots, and sign the compliance forms. That someone could be you. Okay, quick recap before we hand you the Universal Survival Kit. We've seen bots munch clerical data, charm prospects, chat with customers, reconcile books, and bash out translations. Feels like the Terminator is polishing a resume. But the same studies that warn of automation also underline a silver lining. The tasks, not the humans, are at risk. So how do you become the human who directs the task? Step 1. Tech fluency. You don't need to code like a Silicon Valley prodigy, but you must speak robot. Learn prompt engineering, the art of asking AI the right question. Tinker with low-code RPA, robotic process automation, to see how workflows stitch together. Think of it as learning to drive the car before the car drives you. Step 2. Double down on human skills. Empathy, negotiation, leadership. McKinsey projects a 26% jump in demand for social-emotional strengths by 2030. Machines can simulate politeness. They can't replace the genuine warmth of telling an anxious customer, "I've got you. Let's fix this." Step 3. Cultivate higher-order cognition. Critical thinking and creative problem framing are still algorithmically awkward. When data is sparse, ambiguous, or novel, you become the tiebreaker. Join hackathons, tackle open-ended case studies. Practice asking, what hidden assumption am I making? Step 4. Never stop learning. The career half-life of a technical skill is under 5 years. Carve out at least 5% of your work hours for upskilling. Most companies will pay for it. The rest can be found on free platforms if you're resourceful. Schedule it like a doctor's appointment, because it is preventive care for your livelihood. Let's land this plane where we took off. 29% of all current work tasks, gone. 300 million jobs, vulnerable. But when we dig beneath the headline, we see it's the repetitive, rules-based, language-heavy slices that face the axe first. Data entry, scripted calls, Tier 1 chats, routine books, word-for-word translation. Every one of those slices can be reframed as an opportunity to oversee, to interpret, to advise, if you pivot early. So, don't race the machine. Redesign the race. Pick up the tools that let you steer the algorithm, not collide with it. Because the future won't be man versus machine, it'll be man with machine, outpacing those without either. And that, fellow explorer, is how you keep your seat at the table when the table itself is learning to think.